I said that this name could make a PLTR-esque move. And right now, in full transparency, I'm long this name all the way down here around like 13 bucks. So big difference from my entry than what could be your entry if you're not long on path here. But what I'm looking for near term here is a tap of this 1808 for the gap fill. So I'm mentioning this because obviously some of you may like to trade options or something like that, but we're getting pretty gappy here and getting a little bit of explosive to the upside here. Has a lot of news, obviously some AI exposure on this name. What you want to look out for here, though, is the weekly 200 MA, which we're tapping right now, essentially. That number today is 1709. That's going to act as a decent resistance on path in general, and I'm anticipating it to fail. So I'm actually anticipating it to go up to 1808 and give it back. Maybe go down to 1593 before getting a continuation here. So depending on your strategy, whether you're long equity or long options, that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, but going a little risk off here if you're already long may be a smart idea. Now, with that being said, when we zoom out a little further, we look at the monthly chart here. I really like the opportunity that Path has built here. You had a nice little base that we're starting to break here, going all the way back to was like June of 2024. Basically building a decent range here up to 1593. And for those of you that watched the grab video, or you were here when we talked about grab, breaking those localized highs, especially on the monthly, tends to lead for an inflow of volume, which we're seeing right now on this monthly candle, already pulling in 217 million shares, and we're 9 days into the month. For comparison, the last month brought in 375, and that's also on higher volume. And the prior month, looking at August, 209. So we've already engulfed August's volume with 9 days into October. That is massive. You're also breaking the monthly SAR, which you guys know I think is a very decent bull trigger to use. So I'm very interested in this name as a long-term proposition. So once you pass over this 1808, you're going to more than likely hit your head around here around 22, 27, and then again around here like this 26 to $25 area. However, once you're through that, and as you can see, I haven't charted up here yet because I don't like to get too ahead of myself, but once you're through that, it's kind of clear skies. And how this company is positioned right now and where they're positioned, and also with what we're seeing in terms of getting a lot of hype around a lot of these AI names, this is a $9 billion market cap company. We've seen companies pump that are smaller, right, and move more dramatically. But even if you're looking at like an $80 price target and you're assuming it's $20 a share, this would roughly be about $10 billion market cap, or 11 billion, but we'll keep number simple at 10 billion. It's not insane to see this company as a $40 billion market cap company in this environment. Those are keywords, in this environment. It is not insane to see that. What you want to keep in mind, so this is just a general rule of thumb when you're looking at trading any of these momentum names. The larger the market cap, the lower risk you take. What does that mean? I'll tell you. So if the market cap is much bigger, it takes more shares to move the stock in theory, right? If the market cap is much smaller, it takes fewer shares to move the stock, meaning for every dollar spent, more than likely you're going to move the stock a little bit more radically. So as a momentum name shifts towards a larger market cap over and over, and you have a very low entry, you assume less risk as time goes on because the company is even bigger than when you entered. So that is something to keep in your mind if you are trading some of these momentum names, that as it continues to go up in your favor, obviously a news catalyst can come out and cut the legs out underneath, obviously. But in general, especially in terms of intraday price action, as the company gets larger, it takes more dollars, right, to move that company. So as it takes more dollars to move that company, with the share price being higher and the market cap being larger, you're going to get smaller gains theoretically. But that also means losses would be harder to substantiate, or at least rapid losses would be harder to substantiate if you're looking at momentum names and holding them more for the long term. So I wanted to have that little bit of dialogue there as it pertains to Path specifically, because I do like the trajectory it's on. Again, I do anticipate short term for it to fill the gap here at 1808 and reject here near term, just because of how the daily and the weekly are going, kind of cool off and consolidate. As long as it's north of 1593, I think this has legs to continue to the upside into the end of the year, at least north of $25. That is Path for you guys. So there's still an opportunity here, even if you're late on the name. I, again, would personally wait for some level of a pullback here at this 1593-ish area. But knowing that, you still have a good opportunity to at least get $10 a share, in my opinion, even from that entry. So that's my take on Path.